Before the sun rose that day, one small act by a poor boy changed the future of an entire village. What happened next was quiet at first, then painful, then impossible to stop. If you leave now, you will never understand why elders cried, why drums stopped beating, and why the land itself seemed angry. Please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and stay with me till the end. Now, listen carefully. In a small village called Umorfia, there lived a boy named Chinedu. Chinedu was very poor. He had no shoes on his feet and no shirt that stayed long on his body. His house was made of weak mud, and when rain fell, water entered like a visitor. Chinedu lived with his mother, Mama Infunaya. His father had died many seasons ago. Every morning, Chinedu woke up before the sun. He followed his mother to the farm. They planted cassava and yam, but the land was tired. Sometimes the crops grew. Many times they did not. Chinedu never complained. Even when his stomach cried, he stayed quiet. He believed tomorrow could be better. He believed kindness still lived in the world. Other children in the village laughed at Chinedu. They called him boy of dust and child of empty hands. When they shared food, they skipped him. When they played, they pushed him away. Chinedu did not fight them. He only watched. His heart was soft, like fresh clay. His mother taught him one thing every night before sleep. She said, "My son, when you have little, share it. When you have pain, don't give it to others." Chinedu listened. He remembered those words even when hunger made his eyes weak, even when his body felt small, even when he wished to be like other boys. One hot afternoon, the village road was quiet. The wind was slow. Chinedu was coming back from the stream with a small bowl of water. His feet were dusty. His mouth was dry. Then he saw a man lying on the road. The man was not from Umorfia. His skin was dark like burnt wood. His clothes were torn. His eyes were half closed. Flies moved around him. Chinedu stopped. His heart beat fast. He had never seen a stranger like this before. The man tried to speak, but no sound came out. Chinedu looked around. No one was there. Only the sun watched them. Chinedu was afraid, but he remembered his mother's words. He knelt down. He gave the stranger water from his bowl. The man drank slowly. Chinedu helped him sit. The stranger's hands were shaking. He said his name was Okore. He said he was tired, very tired. Chinedu knew he had little time. He could leave and go home. No one would blame him, but he did not move. He held the man's hand. He promised to help him. That small promise made by a poor boy with nothing was the first step to a future no one in Umorfia could imagine. Chinedu tried to help Okore stand, but the man was too weak. His legs bent like dry sticks. Chinedu ran to the village and shouted for help. People came out of their houses. They looked at the stranger from far away. Some covered their noses. Some shook their heads. One elder said, "Strangers bring trouble." Another woman said, "Leave him. We don't know his spirit." Chinedu begged them. His voice was small but full of tears. He said the man was dying. The villagers looked at each other. No one moved. Fear sat in their hearts like a stone. Mama Infunaya came forward. She saw the pain in her son's eyes. She wanted to help, but the elders stopped her. They said the village had rules. They said helping strangers could bring curses. They said the gods might be angry. Mama Infunaya cried. Chinedu held her wrapper. He looked back at Okore lying on the road. The sun was going down. Shadows grew long. Chinedu felt something heavy inside him. It felt like the world was testing his heart. Slowly, he let go of his mother's wrapper. He walked back to Okore alone. That night, Chinedu and his mother broke the village rule. They carried Okore into their small mud house. They gave him their food. It was little, but it was all they had. Chinedu slept on the floor so Okore could lie on the mat. Rain fell hard that night. Thunder spoke loud. Some villagers whispered that danger had entered Umorfia. Others laughed and said the poor always invite problems. Chinedu did not hear any of that. He was busy wiping Okore's face. He was busy hoping the man would leave. For many days, Okore stayed in Chinedu's house. Slowly, his strength returned. He spoke little, he watched a lot. He watched how Chinedu shared food even when his stomach hurt. He watched how Mama Ifunanya prayed at dawn. The villagers stayed away. They pointed from far. They warned their children not to go near the poor boy's house. Chinedu did not know it yet, but every look, every word, every rejection was being remembered. The ground under Omofia was listening, and one day, the village would wish they had chosen differently. When Okore finally stood on his feet, the first thing he did was step outside the mud house. He looked around the village slowly, like someone counting memories. His eyes were deep. They were not the eyes of a weak man anymore. Chinedu noticed it, but he said nothing. Every morning, Chinedu still went to the farm with his mother. Every evening, he brought water and firewood. Life did not change for them. They were still poor, they were still ignored. But Okore changed. He began to ask questions. He asked about the land. He asked about the river. He asked about the elders. He listened more than he spoke. When he spoke, his voice was calm and low. Some villagers started to fear Okore. They said his eyes were too sharp. They said he smiled like someone hiding a secret. Children ran away when they saw him. Dogs barked at him. One elder warned Mama Ifunanya again. He said, "Send him away before it is too late." Mama Ifunanya looked at Okore and then at Chinedu. She remembered the night she almost obeyed fear. She shook her head. She said, "We cannot send a man away after we saved him." That night, Okore heard everything. He sat quietly in the dark. The moonlight touched his face. He closed his eyes and breathed deeply. One evening, Okore called Chinedu outside. He gave him a small wooden carving. It was old and smooth. He said, "This is not money, this is not food, but keep it." Chinedu did not understand. He held it carefully. It felt warm in his hand. Okore told him a story about a boy who helped a stranger long ago and changed many lives without knowing. Chinedu listened with wide eyes. He did not know the story was about him. Okore smiled softly. He placed his hand on Chinedu's head and said, "Kind hearts grow loud later." The next morning, Okore was gone. No goodbye, no footprints, no sound. His mat was empty. The wooden cup was still there. Mama Ifunanya searched everywhere. Chinedu ran to the road where he first found him. Nothing. The villagers whispered again. Some laughed and said, "We told you." Others felt uneasy. Chinedu did not cry. He stood quietly and looked at the sky. He held the wooden carving tight. He did not know why his chest felt heavy. He did not know that the stranger's leaving was not an ending. It was the beginning of something that would shake Omofia. Not long after Okore left, strange things started happening in Omofia. The rain came late. When it came, it fell too hard. Farms flooded. Yams rotted in the ground. The river that never failed began to shrink. Fish died. The elders called meetings. They poured wine. They asked the gods questions, but no answers came. People began to argue. Old friends stopped greeting each other. Fear moved from house to house like smoke. Chinedu watched everything quietly. He still went to the farm. He still shared what little he had. But now, people looked at him differently. Some with anger, some with blame. One day, a child fell sick, then another, then many. No herbs worked. The healer shook his head. He said the land was angry. The elders remembered the stranger. They remembered how they turned away. Whispers grew louder. Some said, "It is because of that man." Others said, "It is because we helped him." Confusion filled the village. Mama Ifunanya held Chinedu close at night. She prayed softly. Chinedu touched the wooden carving under his mat. It still felt warm. Sometimes he dreamed of Okore standing far away, watching silently. Food became scarce. Hunger made people sharp and cruel. One evening, a man accused Chinedu of bringing bad luck. He shouted in the square. Others joined him. They said the poor boy invited trouble. They said kindness caused their pain. Chinedu stood there, shaking. His mother cried and begged them to stop. The elders did not stop it. They looked away. That was when something changed.
The wind blew hard. Dust filled the air. Thunder rolled without rain. People ran. Fear returned stronger than before. That night, Chinedu sat alone. He looked at the carving again. For the first time, he noticed a symbol on it. It looked like an eye and a road together. He did not understand, but his heart beat fast. Far away, beyond the forest and hills, Okore stood before powerful men. He spoke calmly. He spoke of a village. He spoke of a boy. He spoke of kindness and rejection. The men listened in silence. A decision was made. In Umuofia, people slept without knowing that regret was already walking towards them. The morning came with strange silence. No birds sang. No goats cried. Even the wind was afraid. Chinedu woke early and went outside. The sky was grey, heavy like a secret. People gathered in the village square without calling each other. Fear pulled them there. Then a sound came from the forest path. Footsteps, slow, strong. Men appeared first, wearing clean cloths and carrying staffs with signs carved on them. Behind them walked Okore. He no longer looked weak. His back was straight. His eyes were bright like fire. The villagers froze. Some fell to their knees. Some tried to run, but their legs failed them. The elder stepped forward, shaking. They asked Okore who he truly was. Okore spoke calmly. His voice was gentle, but it carried weight. He said he was a messenger of great power, sent to walk among people and test their hearts. He said Umuofia failed the test. The square filled with cries. Mothers hugged their children. Men beat their chests. Okore raised his hand and pointed at Chinedu. He told everyone how the poor boy shared water, food, and shelter when the whole village turned away. He said kindness spoke louder than fear. Tears ran down Mama Ifunaya's face. Okore then spoke of consequences. He said a village that rejects kindness invites sorrow. He said the land listened, the river listened, and the spirits listened. The elders begged. They offered gifts. They offered cows and wine. Okore shook his head. He said it was too late for gifts. He turned to Chinedu and knelt before him. The village gasped. Okore thanked him publicly. He said Chinedu's heart saved more than one life. He said reward would come, but not without pain for those who chose wrong. Suddenly, rain fell. Not gentle rain. Heavy rain. It washed away weak houses. It broke stored food. Fields flooded again. People screamed. Okore and his men walked back toward the forest. Before leaving, Okore looked once more at the elders. He said, "You had a chance to teach your children love. You taught them fear instead." Then he was gone. The village was left crying in the rain. Chinedu held his mother. He did not feel proud. He felt sad. He wished things had been different. Years passed. Umuofia was never the same. Many people left the village. Some died. The land slowly healed, but the joy did not return fully. Children grew up hearing one story again and again, the story of the poor boy and the stranger. Chinedu grew tall and strong. Help came to him from places far away. His farm grew rich. His house stood firm, but he never laughed loudly. He never forgot the pain he saw. Mama Ifunaya lived long enough to see peace return to her son's life. She smiled often and thanked God. The elders grew old and weak. Some died with regret on their lips. They warned the young ones not to repeat their mistake. They said fear makes the heart blind. They said kindness is never wasted. On quiet nights, people said they still saw a man standing by the old road, watching. No one knew if it was true, but no one dared ignore a stranger again. Food was shared, water was given, doors opened more easily. The village learned slowly, but the lesson stayed. Chinedu kept the wooden carving all his life. He gave it to his first son. He told him the story with tears in his eyes. He said being poor does not mean being small. He said one good act can change many lives, sometimes for good, sometimes with pain, but it always speaks. The boy listened carefully, holding the carving like treasure. The symbol of the eye and the road still shined like it was alive. And so, Umuofia remembered. They regretted, not because they lost food or rain or peace, but because they failed kindness when it came quietly and weak. Till today, elders say, when a stranger comes tired and broken, remember Chinedu, because you may never know who you are turning away, and you may never get another chance. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share. More African folktales are coming.